I'm better at marketing my business, I was just told. I have a talk that's been prepared word for word. I rehearsed it for several hours and then had amnesia and lost my notes. So, what I'm actually good at, though, is marketing, so I'm pretty comfortable talking about that. The thing that I would say I specialize in, unlike the brilliant technical stuff on blogging, what I specialize in is getting rid of listings. How many of you here are real estate agents? Show of hands. Oh, almost all of you, okay, because there's some computer gurus in the room that I thought what I have to say, you're a computer guru, and he says you are. Compared to him, you are. Okay. All right. Yeah, I used to get that. I remember about 15 years ago when realtors would walk up to me and ask the question, do you know about computers? What's your question? Well, they wanted to know first, they wanted to establish my credentials. Did I know about computers? And I already knew if they were asking that question, I knew more about it than they did. But I didn't really think I knew about computers because everybody I knew who knew about computers knew a lot more than I did. So, but the subject, how many of you are interested in getting more listings? That's most of the room, good. To get listings, how would the internet play into it for you?
Right to sellers.
Say it again?
Right to sellers.
Right to sellers? See, I tell you the truth, where I see the internet is almost for sellers, it's sort of like a website is like having a billboard. I think having a blog would be like having a billboard, and you get traffic to drive by. But I think that if the marketing, you're going to market yourself, you would by definition be marketing to sellers. One of the things that is most interesting, if you look at any company that is based on refunding, I'm not even just talking about Redfin, but if you look at any company that's business model is based on we will refund money to you if you'll buy your house from us, they are each and every one of them failing. That's interesting. Every single company, that business model is guaranteed to fail. And why is that? Is it because they couldn't buy a big enough ad?
No, they can't pay their overhead.
Say it again?
They can't pay their overhead.
They can't pay their overhead, but they can't pay their overhead because buyers are not looking for an agent, they're looking for a house. When I get asked, what is the best way, other than marketing your own listings, to find buyers? My answer is market someone else's listings. But marketing listings. Buyers are never really looking for an agent, they're looking for a house. If you wanted to buy a car, can you imagine going, God, I hope I meet a really nice car salesman today. I want someone fun. I want someone who has photographs of themselves with their dog. That would be so important to me. If I could see them with their animals, oh man, I'm all in. I want a cuddly person. I want someone I can love up. I don't want to just walk on the lot and get the truth is, the consumer is willing to tolerate talking to the salesperson in order to get the information. Sellers, on the other hand, are actually looking for an agent. Here's an interesting thing. A couple of years ago, when the average busboy could sell a house, and many were, now though some of those people are back to being busboys, I think it's kind of interesting that the discount model has sunk there as well. Here in Phoenix, if I say to you as a sweeping statement that I list and sell more houses than any other agent, period. Actually, it's not quite a factual statement. There are a couple of agents whose business model is putting listings into MLS for builders, like houses they've never seen. But if agents who take listings from individual home sellers, I beat everyone. Don't on volume, just on sheer number of units. My average price is $250,000. What is interesting to me is that if you take one of the largest national discount companies, Help You Sell, they have 14 offices here in the Phoenix area. I personally do more business, volume, and units than all 14 of those offices combined for the last 12 months. Isn't that interesting? and my stats are crashed. My business is in the toilet compared to what it's been. And I personally do more business, actually, I'm about 75 million for the last 12 months. All the Help You Sell offices, all 14 of them combined, are 57 million. What does that tell you? That having a low fee to list a house is not the issue today. The we'll do it for less doesn't make any difference. So what they want to know is, can you do it at all? So what's the secret of selling a house? Price?
It's always been price.
Condition?
Location.
Location. Well, let's just say it was the most terrible location possible. Now, what's the secret?
Price.
Price.
It's always price.
It's always price. Could you have a properly priced listing that wouldn't sell?
Yes.
How would that work? How could you screw it up?
Don't tell anybody about it.
Don't tell anyone? I can tell you one of the methods used in our market to not tell anyone. We have these grids that say where the house is geographically located, like say 503, 403. Those two grids happen to be about 30 miles apart. It is interesting that from time to time you'll find someone who's managed to get the data into the system wrong, making the listing invisible in the system. Like anyone searching where the house geographically is will never find it. There was one Redfin reported on a couple of months ago where a Keller Williams agent in California had added a few zeros, so they had a house that was priced, I think it was $1.3 billion. It's a nice house, I'm sure. And they hadn't gotten any showings, because it was just a little above the search range I think some of the people, even in California, were looking for. So there's, like, typos putting it in the system would stop it from selling, make it invisible in the system. In my market right now, if a house isn't on Lockbox, that would be almost a gift. If it's less than $1 million and not on Lockbox, that would actually be an invitation to not show it at all ever. Half the houses listed right now are vacant homes, translate easy for agents to get into. So if it was accessible and it was in the system correctly, the only variable left is price.